Okay, we're recording.
Here's Zoom. All right. Today is Tuesday, March 31st, 2020. It's 2:11 p.m. and we are having a special meeting via Zoom EXE. And we, Randy, if you want to do the roll call.
Trustee LaRue,
Here.
Trustee Wiegand,
Here.
Trustee Everson,
Here. Bernie.
Here.
Treasurer Johnson is here, Clerk Rattari is here, and Supervisor Durant.
Here.
Trustee Marks is here too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, everyone's present. Manager Gerard is here. Fire Chief Dan Shanahan is here. Assistant Chief Rob Cochran is here on the teleconference. Planner McCarthy and Dietrichson are here, and Attorney Zappa is here.
Okay, good deal. Public comment. Does anybody want to have, we do have some public that's not on the board. Does anybody want to make any comments?
I have no emails either for public comment at this time.
Okay. Well, we don't have any board member comment then in relation to that. So we need approval of the agenda.
So moved. I'll second.
Okay, I move to approve the agenda and Pete seconded it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Policy discussion is to consider acquiring an ambulance.
Okay, let me share the screen here. And then you can see the pictures of the ambulance and such. So let me do that. Okay, so. Can everyone that's on this video see that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so.
Are they the same pictures that was sent out here a few days ago?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So I'll just go through them if Manager Gerard wants to go over it,
Or the chief.
or the chief, one or the other.
All right, well, I can jump in, then Dan can jump in as well. You know, as board members know, we've been talking for some time about the possibility of adding a second ambulance, and it's been on our long-range plan for a while. About a month ago, we had an incident with our active ambulance that could have left us without an ambulance for upwards of a month to 6 weeks. That got us a little more serious in terms of looking at it. It turned out not to be as bad as we originally thought, but in the meantime, we discovered, actually Chief Shanahan discovered that Richmond Township was going to be getting out of the ambulance business as of March 31st today, because they could not find qualified staff to operate their ambulance on any kind of a reliable basis. So we got in touch with Scott Mills, the supervisor at Richmond Township, and he indicated that, yes, that was true. In fact, they were getting out of the ambulance business, and with the disposition of their ambulance, they were going to put it out on bids. So I suggested to him that since we were seriously considering an ambulance, perhaps the two of us could get together and maybe get him something a little more than what bids might generate and get us into an ambulance for a little less than it might cost us otherwise. And he agreed that he would take it to his board for discussion. They agreed that they would hold off on a bid process pending discussion between the two of us. Dan and I went out and did a whole bunch of research on probably 20 different ambulances around the country that were available. We came up with a price that we thought would be reasonable for this ambulance. And I guess the big thing with this is it's local, it's right here. It's 2000 model, but it's only got 38,000 miles on it. So it's very, very low mileage. It's built on a Ford F-350 chassis, which is a heavy duty chassis. It's 4-wheel drive. Does have a winch mounted to the front, a cable winch mounted to the front of it, as you can see in the pictures, and is fully equipped where it sits. It's got all the radio equipment. It's got all the monitoring equipment. It already has a gurney, and we looked up the gurney, and that gurney itself used is a $10,000 item for a used one. Also, it has an external lift along with it, and also all of their medical supplies. So we got back with him and made him an offer of $20,000 to $25,000. He took it back to his board, and they agreed that they would accept $25,000 rather than going for the bid. All of the research that we did indicated for basically a bare ambulance, we were going to be paying between 18 and 22 for a bare ambulance, someplace else that we would have to go get. So Dan and I think Andy Wilder went and inspected the vehicle in Richmond Township and came back very, I guess, excited would be a good term with regards to what they saw. It's in excellent condition and has complete maintenance records. They talked to the mechanic that's maintained it. It has no known issues whatsoever. It does not have the problematic engine that we have in our current ambulance. It has the larger engine, which really has no history. We went out and researched under Ford. It has no history of any major issues, all minor type things that have occurred with it in the past. So we thought that from our standpoint, this would be an excellent opportunity for us to get into a good quality ambulance for almost next to nothing. And the big bonus for us at this point is that it comes with all of their stockpiled supplies, all of their equipment and supplies along with it that we just can't find anymore to buy. With this coronavirus issue, there's just no materials and supplies out there available for any kind of a reasonable price anyway. So that's what we wanted to put before you today to see if the board is supportive of going in that direction. So we could get back to Scott Mills and let him know whether we're going to take it or not. And we both recommend that we do. So I guess if there's any questions, we're both here to answer if you have any questions.
No, it looks pretty nice.
Randy,
Yeah,
can we make a motion?
ask the supervisor.
Sure, go ahead.
Make a motion.
Yeah, you can do it, John, yeah.
Okay, move to concur with the recommendation of our fire chief and township manager and acquire the ambulance for the sum stated.
I support that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Any discussion, questions, comments?
When will we be able to receive it? Once they have their board meeting?
No, the board has already authorized, their board has already authorized the sale. So Scott is basically waiting to hear from us and we could acquire it as of tomorrow.
Okay, we have place to park it though too, right?
Well, we're going to have to go through a process to register it. So it won't be, even if we have it tomorrow, it won't be in service for probably 3 weeks or so to get through state licensing and the processing and all that to add it to all of our accounts and to add it. But we would have possession of it.
Sounds good.
Yep, very good.
And which account is this coming out of?
This is going to be and we'll put together the cover sheet, the form for the board meeting next week. But basically what it's going to do is come out of that 1.6 mil, the 0.6 mil for the equipment, basically 25,000. So it would come from that account. It'd be a budget amendment, basically transfer. Right
Okay.
now we have about 158,000 in that account.
Chief, what do you want to add? Anything?
No, I think Randy covered everything. And we believe, actually, the one correction, it was Assistant Chief Cochran and I took a ride out to look at the ambulance. It's very, very clean. I mean, supplies, equipment, radios at our last ambulance cost us $22,000 just for the equipment and supplies. So for this price, it just seems like a very, very good deal.
And then this will be your primary, correct? And you're using the current one as the backup.
That's what our plan is, yes.
I have a question on the radios. Are the radios compatible to what we have?
Yes, they're the exact same thing. We will need to get those reprogrammed. and they will have to be operational to get the state licensure. And I'm not sure who's open and who's not right now, but I will give them a call this afternoon. But yes, they will need to be programmed and through the VHF and the 800 radio, just like we have now.
How about the in-cab computer?
Same thing. That's basically, that just needs to be reprogrammed to our programming.
Okay, so they already have one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the ambulance, it's in service right now. It's just they don't have EMTs to man it.
Right. Okay.
So the next question I have, well, who's going to be doing their ambulance service out there then?
They're gonna have to
Nobody.
rely on whoever's available.
Which could be us.
Yeah, that's on the west out of Bell.
Here's for me.
Yeah.
Okay,
Champion, Michigami, all of
Right.
okay,
And the hospital out of Bell.
okay.
And we had already talked about this, Randy, with staffing. That's not a problem. I don't know if Rob wants to elaborate on, we kind of cover like extra. It's not really extra shifts, but if we had to go out, who's covering? How does that work?
Well, we do it now. All that it would do now is it would have a second ambulance as opposed to the pickup truck.
Okay.
So right now, if we're doing backups, we have the 2 pickup trucks as backups if there are multiple calls. And then this way we would have 2 ambulances, then the white pickup would be the third.
Third, okay.
Question I have, would the hospital start relying more on us being that we have 2 ambulances?
Well, it's not so much the hospital as much as it is central dispatch. It's closest dispatch.
Okay.
Would it be possible, or had anybody thought of maybe staging that second one somewhere else, or would we be allowed to do that?
Well, we could, but right here, we're central for the township.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Lynn, I have a question.
Sure, chime in.
I thought initially when we were talking about paying for this, we said that there was a surplus on the account for the ambulance currently, that we were making money on it, and I thought we were going to use that money to pay for it.
Well, we can. You know, the immediate would be to take the 25,000 as a transfer and then cover whatever, you know, because we know that we're going to have some additional expenses. It's going to have to be, you know, the name's going to have to be changed on it. And, you know, we're probably going to have it wrapped so it looks like the other one to recognize ours. That's what we would use that other account for.
I believe too, there is a specific line item account for vehicles.
Right.
And there also, but with that, then there's that fund balance, if you will, that's dedicated. So it really, manager may correct me if I'm wrong, it can come out of either account. But we did have one for vehicles that was for the ambulance and apparatus.
Correct.
And that's where manager's planning on taking it out of, I believe.
Yeah. That was a millage, the millage. And then we would use the excess that's in the budget right now that you're referring to, Dave. We would use that for the cost of the programming of the radios and those kinds of things.
Licenses.
Right. The licensing process.
How much money is there in that account? Is there enough? I guess I'm wondering if there's enough in that account to take care of all of it, because that millage we passed was not just to buy an ambulance, it was to replace equipment completely.
Right.
It would just seem to me if there's enough money in that account, the ambulance account, to pay for this and cover some of the expenses to get it outfitted, why wouldn't we do that and only use that other money as if we need it or we come up short?
This line item.
Yeah, there's not 25,000 in that line item.
No.
Is that a vote?
I didn't quite make that out. No, Dave, I think what you're talking about is the equipment line item that's in the regular budget, the fire department budget.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's not enough to cover that in there, but we would draw on that for some of these extra costs. The 25,000.
Okay, that was my question, if there's enough to pay for it out of that or not.
Oh, yes, there's enough to draw on it, but not enough to purchase the ambulance and the supplies and then draw out of it as well. So the
Okay, yeah, that was my question.
25,000 is to acquire the ambulance and all of the equipment that goes with the ambulance from Richmond Township, and then we would utilize the excess in our budgeted account to cover the additional expenses for licensing and registration and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah, that was my question. I'm good with it.
Okay, anything else?
Sounds like one heck of a deal.
Yeah, and I think Ernie was asking a question about space in the garage, and yes, there would be space in there. We would have to move some things around, but there definitely would be space in the garage to have the two of them.
It's gonna be tight. No rounded corners.
So we can do it.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
Anything
then the vote has to be roll call on the teleconference.
okay. Go ahead.
Okay, trustee Marks,
Yes.
clerk Rattari is yes. Trustee Wiegand,
Yes,
trustee LaRue,
Yes,
trustee Everson,
Yes.
treasurer Johnson,
Yes.
and supervisor Durant.
Yes,
That motion carries 7-0.
okay. Any public want to throw in 2 cents? Feel free. Ryan, anything? Jason? Reg?
No.
Oh, Mike looks like he came on. Rob?
Mike, got any questions?
Yeah, I didn't want to cut anybody off. Okay. Any board member or comments then?
Yeah,
Randy retired.
how's the prospect of a light agenda for April 7th looking for a Zoom meeting? Poll the board.
Seems good to me.
We
Yeah,
can,
That's all we can do.
Yeah, we can
We can
work out the
remember-
details with some of the trustees that can't get on, but I think we can make it happen for the 7th, so.
Well, for the most part, that agenda is basically going to just be a recap of the original one that we had to cancel.
Yeah,
You're going to carry those items forward, and there wasn't very much on to begin with.
okay, and I'll work with John Marks and Dave Wiegand and Dan Everson and try to get them hooked up so we can see them on the video, so.
Yeah, the only thing that I'll have is, and it'll be in my manager's report, is just give you an update on what's gone on for the last week.
Okay, that's all I want to know. I'll set it up for the 7th then, 6:30 on the 7th, and we'll keep it to a lighter agenda, then have what we had need to get done, and then some of the carryover items that need to be done.
Okay, before we
I'd like to
break
see-
off, any board members have any questions about operations over the last week?
I got a question, Randy. What about Public Works? How are you handling that? How many people are there? And
All of them. All of the public works operation has been designated as essential. So they're working the regular schedule and the regular staffing pattern. John is here today. He's back this week. He was on vacation last week. And Brenda is here also. She's working 3 half days a week.
are they all healthy?
So far,
Okay, I know, I just,
yeah, we have our protocol in place with how they're responding to things. They are not going into anybody's house. They're not having any direct face-to-face contact with people. They're doing everything that they can do by either telephone or by texting or by other means, but they're maintaining at least that 6-foot spacing when they have to have interactions.
the reason I asked is Semco Gas Company, they restrict only one person in the truck at a time. There's no, you don't have 2 people in one pickup. I don't know if you want to think about that. or
Well,
not.
there
As long
is,
as we're all healthy, I guess it won't be any
well,
problem.
there is some concern with that because it's hard then to have the 6-foot spacing.
Yeah,
But the issue that we have that Semco doesn't have is that most of what we do requires 2 people to be on board. So we either have to have 2 people in one truck or have 2 trucks with 1 person per truck. And we just don't have the equipment for that.
Well, as long as they're healthy and they're maintaining the 6 feet well away from the truck.
Well, they are. And basically, if there's any kind of a concern or if there's any kind of an issue that somebody might be having some early on symptoms or whatever, we have the fire department to throw at them, and they've got their own protocol on how they're responding to any potential COVID cases.
Question for you, Randy. What if one of the, or John, either one, says, I really prefer not to ride with someone? How are you gonna handle that? You gonna honor that one? If they
Yes.
feel that way?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So far, there's not an issue. They're pretty much comfortable with where they're going. People are, outside of work. I'm doing the same thing outside of being here at the office. I'm sheltered with my wife, and we just don't go anywhere. We're doing the same thing we're doing now for the board meeting. We're doing with our kids. That's how we're keeping in touch with them.
Okay, good. Good. That's my only question.
I would like to thank Randy Vitari for setting this all up to it. So I know
There you go.
he's done a wonderful job with it.
Well,
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you. We'll try to get you guys, you and Dave Wiegand, and we'll get John Marks and maybe even Ernie, get him on the screen next time. So
Ernie was going to see if his computer does have voice capabilities. He should have a speaker, but he doesn't know if he can talk.
okay,
So,
I checked with my son and he says no and that.
okay.
Well,
But he did bring up, my wife has an old PC. I'm gonna see if I can get that working in that.
Well, all of the newer tablets and the laptops that we just got all have cameras.
yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't-
Your Android or iPhone should work as well.
Or an iPad if you got an iPad.
I'm on the iPhone.
Yeah, or an iPad. iPad works good too if you have an iPad. So.
I
yeah.
have a phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what kind is it?
Yeah, we
It's
got
a
John Marks
landline.
on the screen, but we can't hear him, so he's coming through the speaker phone, but I'll get him worked out next time too, so.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Randy, for helping me because mine came in, worked good. I'm not gonna touch it till the 7th.
Okay.
Yes, you gotta turn it off, Pete.
Oh, no, I'll keep it plugged in.
Well, do we have any extra computers around, Randy, that Ernie could borrow even?
We
Yeah,
have
we
the
have an
older
extra
ones.
couple laptops here that he could probably
Yeah,
use.
we have the older ones, but they don't have Windows 10 on them. I don't know if you need Windows 10.
I know you don't, not for this.
Okay, yeah, well, I've got 3. I have 3 of the older computers here.
Okay.
The old
Okay.
Maybe we can get one to Ernie. Maybe we
Sure.
can get one to him.
Yeah, we can do that.
Well,
Okay.
if Randy retires in the office someday, I can stop in and we can talk 6 feet apart and how it works and that.
Sure.
Okay,
No problem.
yeah. Then the next week I'll be around, so.
All right,
Okay,
I'll plug one in and charge it up for you.
Oh,
okay.
well,
Good deal.
speaking of that, comments for the board members, I did send an email out. As of right now, April 21st is the deadline for you to file for your vacancy on the township board if you so desire. So if you so like to do that, make an appointment to see Lois, get a petition and the proper paperwork. Lois is in and out of the office. So just get a hold of her and let her know when you're going to be here. And-
Lois is here mornings.
Okay, because that deadline is April 21st, and I have not heard anything to change that, so.
Okay, then we give the applications or the things to her.
To Lois, yes. If you are filing as an independent, you have till July 16th. So. But there's different requirements for independent candidates, so I'll let you know about that if you so desire to do that, so.
Did you say Lois is in every morning?
Yes,
Well, for sure, Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings.
Okay, okay.
She was in this morning because she had some auditor work that had to be done.
Okay,
But if you'll notice, we're in opposite corners. The ones that are here are in opposite corners of the office, so we're not violating our 6-foot spacing.
okay.
Even with the 6 feet, they're saying more and more that it's what you're touching.
Right.
Around here, we've got sprays and the wipes and everything, and we're constantly wiping up after each other. The counter, the doorknobs, things people don't think about. The computer screen, your keyboard, wipe all that stuff down in the office when when you leave. Definitely bathroom doors, doorknobs, light switches. We do that when we clean rooms anyway, so most people don't think about it in their home or their other part of their office.
Yeah, we have our building and grounds folks come through every morning and do the entire building, and then they do it again before they leave, and then we're all walking around here with wipes and Purell and everything else. So it's, yeah, I mean, everything is shiny,
Good.
including us.
Yeah. Okay, anything else?
I'll review the motions, Lynn.
Okay,
First motion was to approve the agenda, and that was passed. And the second motion was to acquire the ambulance for $25,000, and that was a 7-0 roll call vote.
okay.
I move to adjourn.
I second.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We are adjourned.
Stay safe,
Thank you.
Adjourned
folks.
at
everybody.
2:35.
You want to shoot Scott
Yeah, I did it, so it's over with you. In a couple of minutes. He said